Leonard Stafford.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
You are a geobiologist,
That's right.
and I came to know about you from an experience of myself when I was in bed. I had an extension lead, I remember, plugged in underneath my bed, and it was on all night, and I'd wake up with these heart palpitations, and something intuitively said to me that I think there's some sort of radiation or some sort of electromagnetic frequencies affecting my sleep. And so I stalked you,
Right,
and I went through
Brilliant.
so many like Google searches, and I found quite a lot of geobiologists to do an EMF test.
EMF survey.
EMF survey.
Yeah.
And I found yours to be the most comprehensive one. So I just contacted you.
Good. Yeah.
And now we're here. We've since done
Brilliant.
radio together.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yes. I want to start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself, how you came to sort of learn about radiation and how you became interested in it.
Okay, yeah, sure. Right. Well, I retired about 5 years ago, and just before I retired, I got interested in the sort of cover-up that was going on about EMFs. And it was like with mobile phones. In the early 90s, they said mobile phones cause cancer. Then in 1996, there's a report that came out that said they're safe, they don't cause cancer. And I thought, what's the truth? And so I started investigating.
Was it related to the job that you had before?
No.
You were just purely...
just something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I started investigating, and what I found was there was a massive cover-up and massive sort of disinformation being handed out. So then I thought, well, what can I do about this? And I thought, well, the best thing I can do is probably to help people. So then I studied and became a geobiologist. I studied in the UK and then in Austria. And so that's how I got into it.
And what does a geobiologist do?
Right, a geobiologist looks at EMFs and looks at things that are upsetting the human body, if you like. So EMFs, and then also geopathic stress, so earth energies. I deal with those as well. And what I do, I go, like I did with you, I go to someone's house and I will measure these EMFs in the house.
Yes.
Suggest ways of remediating that. And there are certain things that anyone can do straight away. For example, don't take your mobile phone into your bedroom at night. Keep it switched off as much as you can. Switch off the router at night. So there's things like that that people can do.
Yes.
But then it's more than that, because you've got EMFs from the house wiring, low frequency EMFs, which everyone tends to think is fine because it's been around for so long. But but the World Health Organization have classed that as a class 2B, I think, carcinogen, means it probably causes cancer. And then you've got, from mobile phone towers, you've got stuff coming into the house from externally. And so I shield against those, and there are various ways that can be done.
So this electromagnetic radiation, has this been a thing? So back in the day, was it less? Were we less?
Right.
Has it always been around?
Right,
and has our bodies been able to adapt to it? What's the deal with
that's
that?
an interesting question. The answer is no, it hasn't always been around. It started in about the 1850s with electricity.
Right.
That's when it started. And when electricity was introduced in America and in England and whatever, you found then the rates of certain diseases started increasing, like diabetes and things that we don't associate with electricity. And certainly, possibly the worst one is childhood leukemia, and that's associated with magnetic fields from low frequency EMFs. And then, so that if you go way back before 1850, before all this stuff was introduced, heart disease was very unusual. Diabetes was hardly known at all. There was a doctor wrote a book, I think it was in 1750, and he was a doctor who saw patients. He said diabetes, he'd only seen 1 or 2 cases in his whole career. Wow. And then obviously when we got onto the high frequency, so the mobile phones and the stuff that comes through the air, then all these diseases started ramping up. And it's actually, if you look at it, it's quite frightening in a sense because, for example, everyone knows that the rates of autism, going back to 1975 or something, it was something like 1 in 200,000 were autistic. Now, there are various figures, but it's gone to something like 1 in 80 or even 1 in 45. And the increase in autism has been exponential, as has been the increase in radio frequency.
So it's basically been getting progressively worse.
It's getting progressively worse.
Yes.
And it's getting progressively worse exponentially, which means that it's
like 100 times, 200 times, 500 times, 1,000 times over.
It's massive.
Why do you think, so it's getting worse, why do you think, is anything being done about it? Why do you think, what's going on? Why?
Well, okay, that's that's a complex question. Now, one important reason, and this is something that people could do, is everyone is wedded to their mobile phones. Everyone wants to send data, wants to be on Instagram and stuff like that. Now that, and download films, that all requires a lot of bandwidth, and that's why we've got the requirements of 5G coming out now. So if individuals reduce their use of mobile phones dramatically, that could have an effect.
Right.
So where people think that they're powerless in all this, no, they're not. So that's one. But the main thing is, the reason that people aren't aware of this is because of the cover-up I was mentioning earlier. There is a massive cover-up, and the mobile phone companies have a vested interest in us not being aware of it.
I see.
So if you go onto your phone, your Apple phone, and look in the instructions or the legal bits, which is actually on the phone, it says, do not keep the phone, I think it's half an inch or something, away from you. Now, no one does that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says that on all the phones, on Apple and all the other phones. It says keep it away from your body by a certain amount. And of course, that's actually impossible. Apart from people put it on their ears, you're holding it, so it's you're in contact with it.
Yes.
And Lloyd's of London and no insurance companies will insure people for damage by radio frequency radiation.
Really?
That's been going on for ages. So there's all.
Oh my God. That's insane. So let's start with the basics then, because this is all part of your EMF survey that you do. When you do an EMF survey, you go round the house testing for different frequencies. Can we just break down the different electromagnetic frequencies? Because there's obviously, so let's go from the hard wiring of the house through the walls, and let's start with that.
Right, so doing different orders, but the first thing I'd check would be magnetic fields. Now, these come from the wiring. So when a current flows through a wire, it creates a magnetic field. If they're over 4 milligauss, then that's associated with childhood leukemia, and that's been demonstrated in a number of studies. Ideally, you want that to be half a milligauss or less. So I'll check that. Now, if you're near a pylon,
a mast, or an electricity pylon,
or possibly you've got a
waterway,
a current, a wire outside the house, a cable buried, then those two things can cause high magnetic fields.
I see.
Errors in the house wiring can also cause them. So you may or may not be able to do something about it. Now, the thing about magnetic fields is you cannot shield against them. The only thing that does it is mu metal, which is incredibly expensive.
Yes.
So if I find them in the house, then I check whether it's the wiring. If it's the wiring, then okay, an electrician can come in. If it's from outside, then there's nothing that you can do about it.
Okay, cool. Solution is to move.
Well, yes.
If you can.
I mean,
but
yes,
it's tough, right?
It's not. That's not terribly frequent.
Okay.
I find that.
All right.
Then the next thing I'll check for is high frequency field. So this is from mobile phone masts, from your mobile phone, microwaves, baby monitors. So I digress. I mean, baby monitors are terrible because they give off radio frequency EMFs when the child is sleeping. I mean, the worst possible time, and they often have a camera quite near to them, and people just aren't aware of that. So
I remember you went to a client's house
Yeah.
And she just wasn't aware.
No. And then
there was so much. I mean, you got your tools out to test the radio frequency, and it was just a lot of radiation around her child.
Yeah.
And then when she saw it, she just kind of freaked out. Just thought, oh my God.
She threw away the baby monitor. She said, it's not going to be used again.
Bin that one. Yeah.
So I check the radio frequency, and often there are things that people can do about that. Like I mentioned earlier on, like the worst things are the DECT phones. They're the handheld ones that you walk around with, because that's like
the cordless ones. Yeah.
That's like a base station all the time.
Right.
Emitting in your house. Now I've got one here, but you can get ones that don't emit all the time.
Okay.
So but most of them do.
So check that, because that's a lot of people have cordless phones.
Yeah. So and it's surprising how much that sort of goes throughout the house.
Right.
You know, it's surprising. And then the Wi-Fi routers and things like that, you know, to switch off. So look at the internal things, and then you're left with external, what's coming from outside. And often if you're near a mobile phone tower, that'll be coming straight in. If you're higher up, especially in London, you know, in a flat or something, it can come straight in because there's less buildings to stop it.
Yes.
And you can get very high readings.
Yes.
And then, so what I do there is give people advice how to reduce it themselves.
Yes.
And then looking specifically at the bedroom, because ideally people want to sleep radiation free.
Right. And why is that?
Because overnight your body repairs and heals, and with radiation that stops that repairing process going on, because your body's fighting the radiation, so it can't clear down, you know, and sort of.
So it's almost taken a toll on the immune system. It's
absolutely.
It's like getting compounded constantly.
Yeah.
If you like. Yeah. So the idea is, if when we're sleeping, when the body's repairing, that's when we can rejuvenate.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Because it's reckoned that something like, I think it's 93% of people in the Western world have compromised immune systems, or, you know, not functioning 100%. So very few people do have that.
Yeah.
But so at least if you sleep radiation free, you can repair and rejuvenate overnight. And when I shield someone's house or bedroom, the first and most obvious impact that most people have is that their sleep improves.
Right.
They notice that straight away.
Yeah. And a calming energy. I sense it in this house. I know you've got all your things going on, and the plug sockets and everything, but I can sense it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
I know you've said it before, that people, but I can really sense it.
What you're
it's really
sensing,
nice to be in it.
we're lucky here. It's a relatively low EMF area anyway.
Yeah.
But we've got Memon, which is this device that plugs in and creates and tries to put the atmosphere back to its natural situation. So it increases, or it improves the balance of positive and negative ions in the air. And it negates the harmful effects of EMFs, all EMFs actually.
And I know you really rate this company, the German company called Memon.
Yeah.
I'll put the description and the link in the YouTube description.
Okay.
For those who are watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth looking at that. I mean, on my website, I've got some videos, and there's 3 videos on there about Memon, and they demonstrate the effectiveness of it.
Yes.
So I've looked at a number of these sort of products and tried them out, but this is the only one that I really am confident works long term.
Yes.
I've had some others that have worked sort of short term.
Yeah.
But this is quite a remark, and there's even books written about this.
And they do a really good strip for the mobile phone, don't they?
Yeah, you can put that. Yes. So the demonstration on YouTube shows your blood. It's a blood sample, and your blood is normally the red blood cells are separate.
Yeah.
Then when you're on the mobile phone for 10 minutes, they clump together. It's called the rouleau formation, and you can see that. Then they put a Memon on the phone, and you're on the phone for 10 minutes. Your blood stays separate. So that's a demonstration actually that you can see on my video there.
And also, a lot of people nowadays have got the Bluetooth earphones in. It's all about looking good without the wires, and everyone's looking good, but they're cooking their brains.
I'm sadly,
it's
yes.
insane.
Sadly, yes, that's right. That is right. I mean, Memon, you can get a Memon to put into onto those Bluetooth things.
Right.
But my recommendation always is use Memon, but reduce your exposure to EMF as
Yes.
far as you can. That's
Yes.
that's the key. Reduce
the key.
reduce it.
Yes.
But then Memon can help.
Yes.
You know.
So there's going to be a lot of people watching and listening to this, and they're going to be thinking they just want quick solutions.
Right. Okay.
You know, like people, because you know, a lot of people we've got lives are quite hectic, and sometimes radiation, because we're so used to it. You know, everyone's got Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
everyone's got a mobile phone. They're not always going to be. It's not going to be at the forefront of their kind of
No,
consciousness to
I
go
understand
right.
that,
We
yeah.
need to sort that out. So, can we just go from the most usable, radioactive, if you want to call it, objects in the house that we use? We'll start with mobile phones and quick fixes. In that sense. So, for the mobile phone,
It's use it less.
use it less.
I mean, obviously that may be difficult.
Yeah.
But what I tend to do is I'll switch it on in the morning,
yes.
check calls and whatever.
Yeah.
Then again at lunchtime and again in the evening.
Yeah.
And I have it switched off most of the other time.
Yeah.
Certainly never take it into your bedroom. Or if you take it into your bedroom because you use it as an alarm clock, well, buy a battery alarm clock. But
Yes.
if you need to use your phone, then have it switched in aeroplane mode.
Right.
But I think that some phones still emit some things when they're in airplane mode.
Oh,
I think some of the
really?
newer ones. I'm not
Okay,
absolutely sure
okay,
of that.
okay.
But I would say don't take it in to your bedroom. You know, if you're worried about calls, get an old-fashioned phone and plug it into your bedroom, the old-fashioned type, or have it out in the hall or whatever.
Yeah. Take calls on loudspeaker.
Yes, right. That's right. Take the calls and hold it here. That's what I do.
Right, yeah,
I hold
away
it
from the body. Yeah.
Yes, if you can. Put the Memon sticker on. I would, because that
Yes.
just sort of helps.
Yes.
If you need to have headphones, you can get air tube headphones. So the headphones, there's an air gap in the headphones. And
Yes.
so that it doesn't bring the radiation straight into your ears.
Right. Okay.
So you can get those there,
Yeah.
from various places. So I think that's
Yeah.
don't never. I mean, the worst bit is children with this. Never give mobile phones to children. Don't use mobile phones around children. If you're pregnant, try and reduce the use as much as you can,
Yeah.
because all of this affects the unborn baby. I mean,
Yeah. And I suppose if you're giving it, because a lot of people do give, children iPads and that, it's a kind of a norm thing. Would you say, I know, to put them on airplane mode if you can, if they're going to use it? I know it's very, I know you're not suggesting that, but you basically would just say no.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it should be banned. I mean, they've banned in France in kindergartens. They've banned all of wireless things, and it should just don't do it. I mean, it's if you can, it's dreadful. I mean, EMFs cause a lot of data. There's a lot of evidence that to show that EMFs cause DNA damage.
Right.
Now that's affecting future generations.
Yes.
It affects the blood-brain barrier, so that toxins go into the brain.
Yeah.
It's not me saying this. There's a load of studies about this, and loads of other effects. So a child should not be subjected to all of that.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's really difficult because we've got such busy lives and children are, it's difficult to look after, but it's really sad that a lot of children are becoming addicted to their phones, to their gaming and all that. And it's not only is that affecting their health, but it's affecting them psychologically, because you see children just walking along, looking at the phone like that, not interacting, and then they lose the ability to speak to people.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
There's almost like an epidemic with that, actually. There needs to be
that's
kind
right.
of...
And people are becoming aware of that now.
Yeah. And it is insane talking about phones that, they're right close to our brains, and our brains, I mean, it's like the power bank of who we are.
Well,
isn't it?
that's
Power
right.
pack, yeah.
That's right. Now there's a diagram that shows with an adult, and you put a phone here, it sort of penetrates the skull a little way, but with a 5-year-old child, it goes almost all over the skull because it's thinner. Their skull is thinner. They're more water, which is a conductor.
Yes.
And their central nervous system is developing.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and we don't know
Yeah.
what this is going to do.
Yes.
It's the first generation
Yes.
that have been brought up like this.
Yeah. I can imagine, when the kids get older, they'll be like, oh, do you remember back in the day they used to have these Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi boxes and mobile phones, and they had all this radiation, and we don't do that anymore.
I hope
it'd be
you're
really
right.
funny.
Funnily enough, I do believe you're right.
Like they're all they're all just killing themselves and not knowing. A bit like asbestos.
That's right.
I just didn't know about it.
It's exactly asbestos, and then smoking. All these were covered up for ages, and they're using the same tactics to cover up this damage now.
I see. Let's move on to Wi-Fi then.
All right.
So a quick fix. I know what you're going to say, which is great. But yeah, a quick fix for Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is always on in the house for most people. So give us some solutions.
Right. So the main thing, switch it off at night, and easy way to put it on a timer so it goes off at say midnight and comes on at 6 o'clock or something, so that then it doesn't affect you when you're sleeping.
Yes.
Now a lot of my clients are actually electrosensitive, so they feel the Wi-Fi and it affects them, so they tend to hardwire.
Yes.
Which isn't that difficult. You put an Ethernet cable into the router and take that to wherever you want to have your mobile device.
Yes.
So I'd recommend that. There are companies who can hardwire it for you if that.
Yes.
Maybe a bit expensive.
So the turning it off at night because you can get a timer. That's
simple.
That's a quick solution.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Now, if people in the household are feeling they've got brain fog, they're not sleeping, they're tired, whatever else, then you might want to. It's probably worth considering. Is this actually affecting them during the day? And then do you want to take a step further?
Yes.
Because it's not that difficult to do.
Yes.
You can do it.
You can hardwire it, and then you just connect your laptop where you need to, and connect your phone when
you can even connect your phone with. There's a special. What's it called? It's a lightning adapter or something. There's things that you can get that will allow you to connect your phone, so you can download data on your phone if you want to without the internet. So you can. I mean, this house the Wi-Fi is always switched off, but we've got computers and stuff.
Yes. Okay. Microwaves.
All right. Okay.
Let's talk microwaves, because a lot of people will still have microwaves. I don't have one ever since when my mum contracted cancer. Cervical cancer, she went to a nutritionist. Yeah. And the first thing the nutritionist said to her was, get rid of your microwave. Because she said what goes into the microwave could be, even if you're heating up water, what goes into the microwave is as water, doesn't come out as water, because you're completely changing the molecular structure of water. It actually comes out as something else. Yes. Which is just so, that's frightening. That's frightening.
That's absolutely right. So my view is that if you put food into a microwave oven, you nuke it, there's no point in eating it.
Yes.
You just ruin it, changes the molecular structure, as you said. But more than that, if you test with my meters a microwave, when you switch it on, the magnetic field that I mentioned earlier goes up, and I said that 4 milligauss is associated with childhood leukemia. Put your meter in front of a microwave when it's on, and you probably get readings of 100 milligauss. I mean, that's massive. And that's magnetic. In addition, you've got high frequency. You've got the high frequency as well. Yeah. My advice when I see clients is just don't throw it out.
It's literally just burn it, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about burning it, but take it to the dump or something. But don't use it. Don't use it.
And what about people who live near phone masts? Now, we're seeing phone masts pop up across the UK, and the ones that you told me about, the 4G ones at the time, the ones that you told me to look out for, I see them popping out everywhere. Now, I've got a couple of questions with this. How dangerous are they when you're living next to one?
There are a lot of studies, sadly, that show the closer you get to a mobile phone mast, if you take sort of people's health, the worse your health gets. And there are studies that show that after 5 years, 4 or 5 years, the rates of cancer near a phone mast increase. So what the mobile phone companies did, and this is just one of the examples, they did studies just for 4 years. Said, don't worry. Yeah. But they didn't extend the studies.
I see.
Cunning. Yeah. Oh, well, there's so many things I could talk about that. But so that's one thing. But I wouldn't despair, in a sense. I mean, my message about all of this is don't despair. You can do something about it. Take action. And so if you're near a mobile phone mast, you can shield against that radiation.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I would shield the bedroom, so
Yes.
at least you sleep without that.
Yeah. So there is a solution, to it.
Yes. But sadly, it seems it doesn't affect everyone.
Yes.
Well, I say that. I think it probably does affect everyone, but it doesn't manifest in some people. Because radio frequency radiation, if you subject cells to it, they produce what are called heat shock proteins. So that shows that the cell is under attack. So that happens irrespective for everyone. It's just some people have different physiologies and can deal with it
sensitivities
better.
to it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember when there is a website actually, which again I'll put in the description in the YouTube description box. If you go to mastdata.com,
Right.
you can search for whether there is a phone mast and whether or not you need, because I live right next to one.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. Yeah.
So you know we need to shield. But on that actually, I bought a shielding tent. Are they called shielding tents?
Canopy.
Shielding canopy. So if you didn't want to shield your room, so to speak, because you can do that with EMF paint, is that right?
Yeah.
With
Right. Okay. So there's different ways. Yeah.
Yes.
So the simplest way is to use a canopy, which you
Yes.
just erect over the bed. It's
Yes.
quite simple, and there's a YouTube video showing you and
Yes.
I putting the canopy
on
up.
this channel, there's a canopy. Yeah, I know. Me and you doing the canopy.
So we can put and the beauty of a canopy is it works just straight away. So you put it up, and then you go in there and you take the readings. And I think at your place there were about 4,000 or 5,000 microvolts outside. This is high frequency.
Yes.
And inside I think it went down to about 20. It's all on the video. So it's immediately reduced. Low frequency from the wiring, that is also reduced because we earth it.
Yes.
So that went to 0. And the other thing is that it can feel peaceful inside. So if you stand outside the canopy and just are quiet and then go inside and lay down, it feels peaceful.
Yes.
So not everyone doesn't necessarily feel that, but you certainly reduce it. So that's a very simple way of doing it. And I've now got a different canopy. Your canopy, you've got the super duper canopy.
Right,
There's a sort of reduced version now, which is cheaper than that actually. So price has come right down.
Has it?
So
Roughly, approximately, what kind of price
so
range?
$950 for a single bed.
Yes.
And $1,350 for a double.
Oh, great.
So,
and that's obviously lasting, it's about 15 years,
yeah,
roughly?
well, yeah.
10 to 15 years.
Yes, it depends how you use it. If you just very gentle with it, don't take it down, don't be rough with it. It just keep going.
Yeah.
But if you, every time you open it, and if you wash it a lot, it reduces it. It's sort of.
I haven't washed mine.
No, well, that's good.
I just spray it with a bit of,
right. Well,
essential oil and water. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a special detergent to wash it with.
Yes, I've got that. Yeah. Okay, that is a real simple solution.
So that's one that's simple and it works. But if you're getting a canopy, just be careful. Because you want one that will shield against high and low frequency.
Right.
And the silver tule that you've got and the other one that I do, both shield against that.
Yeah.
And you have to put earthing mats underneath and
Yes.
things like that. So that's one way. The other way, which I've done here in our bedroom, is to shield with paint. So you put black paint on the walls and then you paint over it, obviously.
Right.
And then you earth that, so that gets rid of the black paint, reflects the high frequency. The earthing takes away the low frequency.
Yes.
You put a mesh on the floor, and then you put a fabric behind the curtains to shield when the curtains are drawn to shield.
Of course, because it comes through.
Yeah. And that's the other way. So there's the two main ways of shielding.
The shielding,
Both effective. I've done both quite a lot.
Both just as effective.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, the canopy is simpler because it's just it's just there.
Drapes over the bed.
Yeah, do it. That's
and it's like
half an hour.
Barricade, isn't it? Against radiation while you sleep.
But for some people, they prefer to do the room, and I mean, I prefer the room because it's just you're not aware of it being done. It's just the room is the same.
Yes.
But it's just depends on what people want, their budgets, and so on.
Yes. And how do you see the future of all of this? So let's go on to 5G.
Okay.
Because this is a hot topic at the moment.
Yeah.
All of the phone companies are getting into bed with each other with this. and it's being heavily publicized at the moment. So it's getting into our subconscious. 5G is coming, and they're all celebrating it. What's your views on 5G? I don't think you're celebrating.
Okay, so I think what I didn't realize this until recently, the American economy is totally based on this 5G. The whole of these mobile phone companies and employs thousands of people, and so there's such a big vested interest in it. Now, 5G is the frequencies are increasing. So at the moment, 5G I think is using up to 6 gigahertz. In this country, they've sold the frequencies up to 28 gigahertz, and the plan, as I understand it, is go to 90 gigahertz. Now, just to put this in perspective, there's a crowd control weapon used in the United States, and it may be used here, I don't know, but it's definitely used in the United States, where if you've got a crowd, they have this weapon that they will point at the crowd, say the ringleader, and it makes his skin feel as if it's on fire, so he moves out of the way. So it doesn't.
So when it's pointed at you, your skin feels like it's on fire.
So you get out of the way.
Wow.
Now that is 90 gigahertz radio frequency, 90 gigahertz. So just people should be aware of that. So it's absolute madness to be going up to be using any of this, but to be going up to 30 and whatever. These are millimeter waves. They're very short wavelengths. Now, some of the wavelengths are similar size to the insects, so say bees. Goodness knows what effect it's going to have. Well, we know what effect it's had. We've already seen bee populations diminishing. This could have catastrophic effects on all wildlife. I mean, including ourselves. There's an appeal by a load of scientists that's gone to all governments saying that 5G is madness. Should be stopped. Dr. Martin Pauls called it, I can't remember his exact words, but a ridiculous experiment on humanity or something like that. So my view of 5G is that it's
destroying humanity.
I wasn't going to say that, but yes, that's true. Now, but I think that people shouldn't feel helpless, because that's the problem with this. You tend to feel helpless, but
we're going to empower people.
You can do something about it. So what can you do? Don't buy a 5G phone. Don't have things in your house that are smart. So anything smart is radio frequency. So your smart TV that you've got is emitting, when you sit in front of it, that's emitting radio frequency, and it's surprising how high that is. So turn off the smart and just have it on an aerial or something like that. Or get there's people that will come in and can hardwire the TV.
Straight into the internet. So no Alexa. A lot of people are on this Amazon, Alexa and all these. I mean, this is a big thing.
That's I think that's is that the thing that you talk to? No. Well, so
because it's a smart device. Right, you're saying no smart devices.
No, absolutely, because the 5G is this Internet of Things. So what they're saying is your toaster will connect with your front door. Why do you need that? And it's not doing you any good anyway. So when you use your last bottle of milk, Amazon knows and delivers you a bottle of milk.
Why? I know. Why do you need it? Just go get it yourself.
It's crazy, my view of 5G. Well, and the other thing, as you know, they're launching satellites in space. I think there are already 4,000 launched into space to beam it down on Earth, and there's another 20,000 that have been authorised to go and that are going to beam down so it gets everywhere on Earth. That is going to have, again, devastating effects. So coming on now, it is very, very, very easy to feel just totally disempowered and say, well, hold on, what's the point of all this? What's the point of life, in fact? Now, my answer to that, don't feel like that, is, and if I show you this book here. So this is Neil Donald Walsh's book, very simple, The Essential Path. Now, Neil Donald Walsh is an author who's written a number of books called Conversations with God. Now, they're not religious. I must say that. I must stress that. They're not religious. But they give an alternative version of life, if you like, and what what one can do about it. And that book sort of summarizes it all, so that if you read that, it gives you hope, and you think, okay, it doesn't matter. But I suppose the essence of that book is that we are all one, rather than this separation thing. We are all one. And it's more than that, but based on that, if our views change from this separation, we're separate from each other, we're separate from God, I need to get what I can get, doesn't matter what happens to you.
Yes.
If all of that changed, then I think, according to Conversations with God, that book, the whole world would change. And then what could be happening is that all of a sudden, and quite rapidly, everything changes, and we go from this ridiculous society where we're killing people and whatever else to 1,000 years of peace, or something that has been predicted, I believe. So that's my belief. So underneath all this, it's horrendous what's going on, but I have a faith, if you like, that this could herald, or if enough people embrace these sort of thoughts, it would change, and the world could change, and it could change very rapidly.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm the same in terms of power to the people, and it's all about empowerment. Just like you say, everyone that's listening on the podcast and watching on YouTube is as simple as don't buy into a 5G contract. You don't have to buy it. Just that simple thing. Yes. If everyone boycotted 5G, the mobile companies would literally not be able to sell them, and they'd be like, oh right, they want something else. They want something a little bit healthier, something with that has the less harmful effects on the body. It's that simple that we can come together and just do that.
That's right. Yes, and not use anything that's not, and that would also mean not downloading data or reducing. So all this Instagram and stuff, that's data that takes up a lot of bandwidth. Yeah. So that's why 5G as well is coming on. So it's we're driving this. It's like governments won't take the action. It's if the people, if they believe that everyone wants something, that's when they'll change their tack. They're not the leaders.
Yes. I wonder how it will go, because social networking is just massive, and obviously we are creating the demand for it, but there's got to be a bit of a balance, because no one wants to cut their Instagram accounts. I know.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there are. Well, you can do all this. There are safe technologies. What's it? The fibre optics, for example. Yeah. A safe technology.
Right.
So you can do it in schools where they have wireless stuff. It's quicker to have wired. It's slightly not quite so convenient, but it's quicker. It's safer. I mean, there are schools where people are getting ill, directly through the Wi-Fi and stuff. So go to that. Yeah. But I think with the Neil Donald Walsh theory is that things would change, everything would change, and the whole world would change, for the better. Yes. And that's what I hold on to.
Yeah, no, that's it's a powerful thing to hold on to. Yeah, I definitely will read that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about crystal technology.
Right.
Because I know there's a lot of things on YouTube and a lot of things on the internet regarding shungite.
Right, yeah.
And a few other crystals. In your experience so far, what is there's a lot to test for and against. Sort of, because a lot of people are like, oh, this crystal's good for that, and if I put this crystal next to this, do we know enough yet? What's your experience with it?
Okay, it's difficult. Shungite is definitely a crystal that will help with EMF. There's no doubt. And I went to a shop, and the lady had put one on her smart meter, and she said it made a difference. So great. The Memon stuff, and I've got the Memon bracelet here. That is based on crystals. So that is crystal technology. It's specially designed. So I think there's some good in crystal. I'm not, I think that's great. Yeah. In my experience, I don't think it's enough. If you've got high radio frequency, for example, come into your bedroom, I don't think it's enough just to put a few crystals.
Yes.
Maybe people will find that, and great, you know. But I think that now the technology is so strong that you need more.
And we're getting bombarded.
More than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you almost think that, like, with this, we're getting bombarded with so much radiation, it's almost having a dummy effect on our IQ?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yes, I mean, so many people have sort of brain fog and memory loss and things like
Yeah.
that. And then, well, look at Alzheimer's as well. You know, so yes, I think it is. And I think because I think you react to the world differently when you're looking at the screen. You're reacting to the screen,
Yeah.
but you're not reacting outside you. So, and I heard on the radio recently someone saying that children are losing their feelings, so that they're not, you know, they're.
Wow.
Because you talk to someone, you sort of look at their eyes and you see, you react to them.
Yeah.
But you look at the screen, it's not there.
Becoming just a blank
Yeah,
wall sort of
and
thing.
it's a lot. People, you know, just to sort of send a message.
Yeah.
You know.
And I know you mentioned mental health before and the effects on how radiation really affects mental health.
Yeah.
Depression, suicide. You've given us. I remember giving an example once before.
Yeah. The saddest one of that. There's a young girl who committed suicide and was found by her mother, and her mother is now arranges talks on this. She went to see David Cameron and said, look, when he was Prime Minister, this happened, and it was because Wi-Fi had gone in at the school, and because they'd also put Wi-Fi at home. The two things happened together.
Right.
And her name was Jenny Fry. She went from being a model sort of pupil to she could hardly hold the pen.
Wow.
And she was getting all detentions and things. And in the end, she hanged herself.
Wow.
And her mum thought, well, okay, something good could come out of this because, you know, they'll ban this in schools. But of course, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, in some schools, as I said, in kindergartens in France, they've banned it.
But did they end up prove that radiation?
She knew, her mother.
Her mum knew. She knew.
Yeah.
They just knew. Yeah.
How can you go from being a model pupil and all that
Yeah.
to suddenly not holding your pen, having to go to the toilet frequently?
Yeah.
It's, you know, that's
Had an effect. Yeah. Had a negative
and
effect.
there are other studies that demonstrate that depression and suicide, sadly, are related. I mean, suicide has become, it's something like the third. I can't quite remember. It's the third biggest killer of children between certain ages.
Right. Yeah. I know it's in men. It's the top killer.
Right.
Above cancer and the
that
heart
is-
disease. It's
so we're
it's
killing
number one.
for youngsters.
Yeah.
This is tragic. This is absolutely tragic.
So there is
Yeah.
definitely that correlation
Yeah.
then with.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
There's so many things that there's a correlation with.
Yeah.
And it's all been evidenced.
Yes.
And there's something called the Bioinitiative Report that demonstrates all this, and it has all the studies and everything, and it's written by top scientists.
Yeah.
But yes,
I suppose it's just another compounding effect with diet. You know, with the lack of
yeah, I
diet,
agree
with
that, yeah.
radiation, with stress in the Western world. So it's
Yes.
another thing. So like you say, if we can reduce
Yes.
radiation as much as we can in our lives, it's getting rid of something,
Yes.
you know. And so we can get to a
No, I
place
agree
of-
with you. Yes, absolutely. And genetically modified foods, that's another thing that's bad for
Yes,
us. So
yes.
all of these things,
having an effect.
have an effect. Heavy metals and all that. But radiation, I mean, Dr. Klinghardt, who's one of the leading doctors about all this, he says you've got to reduce the radiation and clear out your heavy metals in your body.
Okay,
So
and that's because Alzheimer's has now been linked as the top. Well, for last year, it's the number one cause of death in this country. So is that what's your experience around Alzheimer's and the link to metals and heavy metals?
well, that's right. Well, according to Dr. Klinghardt, what
Yes.
happens is we're all subjected to heavy metals, so aluminium.
Yeah.
And the radio frequency EMFs break down the blood-brain barrier so that heavy metals get into the brain, and that's the cause of Alzheimer's. That's what creates
Right.
it. So it's those two things. That's according to Dr. Klinghardt.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
so yeah. So
yeah. Metals, metals in the body. It's
Yeah.
actually funny because of the natural health consultant that I see. The first thing that he does is check your teeth. One of the things he does actually is check your teeth, get rid of your
mercury.
fillings,
Yeah.
get rid of the mercury fillings
that's
because
right.
metal in the body is so poisonous.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's interesting. Let's talk about geopathic stress. 'cause you
Okay.
haven't
Oh yes.
mentioned that.
Yeah. Okay. So
Because you came in my house and you you started dowsing.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen it before.
Right.
And you had these rods, and I just thought, what's he doing here? But obviously, it's an ancient technique that has been done for centuries.
Well,
and
yes.
just let's explain dowsing because I never heard of
For
it.
thousands of years. It's been done. Well, yeah. Okay, so it used to be done. Dowsing commonly was done to find water.
Right.
And I mean, I think in Australia it's still done. In this country, it used to be done by the farmers to find water.
Yeah.
So
And what does dowsing mean? Is it the practice of...
you go along with the rods,
Yeah.
and then depends what you're dowsing for. But if
Yeah.
you're dowsing for water, when you've got your rods, when you come over water, they'll
So these are just
separate.
two metallic?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, you can use all different things.
Okay.
But metal, the normal ones for water are a sort of L-shaped metal rods. You just walk along and you come over the water, and they
just
separate.
move?
Yeah.
And are they just why are they moving? Are they moving because of the energies or frequencies? We don't know,
No,
right?
I'm not sure of that. No,
Right, yeah.
no.
But it's been done for centuries and it's
Yeah,
worked.
It
That's
works.
the point.
There's no doubt about it. It works. I mean, even the water board, I think I don't know, even in this country, use it to locate a leak.
Yeah. Oh,
think,
okay. They still use it. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. And I mean, there was
Beats
a
any
chap,
tech.
well, yeah, there was a chap who worked for the electricity board.
Yeah.
And when there was a line went, he'd douse over a map actually and say, oh well, the break is here, and
Right.
he was often right.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, what I douse for is geopathic stress, which is Earth energy, excesses of Earth energy. So Earth has a magnetic field, and we need that, and that's to live. But where it's excessive, for example, over a water vein, it can be excessive, and you don't want to sleep for a long time over a water vein. And the reason there's a
water vein is a channel of water
just going under the ground. Yeah, it's not like it's under
house.
water under pressure. So the water will fall down, the rain, and then when it goes down, and when it hits rock, it sort of goes along like that.
Right.
So it's not necessarily like a river, but it can be quite thin. But all trees have a route to the water vein because they transpire water vapor the whole time.
Right.
So they need to do that. So I forgot what I was going to say.
No. So the water vein underneath.
Oh yeah.
And it's if you've got one underneath your house or wherever you live,
it goes right up. That's right.
The radiation goes right up.
You can measure it. So you can measure it at the bottom or at the top of a skyscraper.
Yeah.
You get the same results. Yes. And what I was going to say was, in the 30s, 2930, there was a chap called Baron von Pohl who lived in Germany, Bavaria. There was a town called Wilsberg where they had a high incidence of cancer, and he didn't know the town, so he went to the town and said, I will predict where people have got cancer. And so he doused for the water veins and marked them on a map. The chief medical officer then took the map and marked where the houses were where people had died of cancer. And sometimes the house was half over a water vein and half not, and in those cases they went to the house and saw where the bedroom was, and what they found was everyone who had died of cancer was sleeping over a water vein. Everyone. And he repeated that at another town as well. So he presented these to a conference in Munich.
And this is over time. This is a cumulative, isn't it?
Yeah, 20 years or something.
20 years. This radiation's bombarding you.
Well, what it is, we're all of us are producing cancer cells all the time.
Yeah.
But our body deals with them. We've
Yes.
got killer T cells or whatever that deals with them. If our immune system is compromised, these cancer cells tend to build up, and cancer cells need 7 times more energy than normal cells to live. So if you're sleeping over a high energy spot on your bed, the cancer cells will tend to accumulate there because there's more energy. So that's why they accumulate there. So there was research that a company called Geo-biologist did. They're in Austria. They do a lot of this shielding stuff as well. And they took I think it was 1,000 of their cancer patients and sent a geobiologist in to douse their bedrooms. Yeah. And the geobiologist didn't know anything about the patient. But what they found was that I think it was 80% of the cases, the cancer had originated within something like 5 centimetres of a hotspot. So it might be a water vein or another.
It's like channeled.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's quite interesting. So it's quite important to deal with geopathic, and it's not difficult. So various ways.
And there's also earth energies. There's ley lines.
Yeah, you're right. So what the other thing I douse for Hartmann lines and Curry lines. So these are lines that go around, span the globe,
Yes.
and where they cross, or there's a hot spot there. And so, yeah, I look for those.
And they're
as
just
well.
natural energy
Yes.
lines underneath the Earth.
Yeah, yes, coming from the Earth. Yeah, because the Earth is spinning and it's got a molten iron core, it creates these energy lines.
And tell me, because in ancient times, they would know about this. For some reason,
Yes.
they would douse, would they?
Well, I don't. Yes,
Because you said a lot of houses were built not on water veins because they kind of knew.
I know. Well, there's a fascinating YouTube video with a chap called Brendan Murphy, who is a dowser in Ireland.
Yeah.
He got Roger Coghill along as well, and there was this massive house in Ireland, and there was a geopathic stress line going straight towards the house, and then when it got just by the house, it dissipated. It just went. Now they didn't know where it had gone, and they'd never come across it. And Roger Coghill had his instruments to measure this, scientific instruments. And so I think that in those going back, people knew how to deflect it. And there's a chap in Scotland who's a master dowser and his dad was a dowser and so on. He can deflect the water veins. So say there's a water vein coming through the house here, he'd go out, hammer a stake in and deflect the energy. It's amazing. This is one that we've sort of forgotten. But the other thing is that farmers would send their cattle into a field and see where they sort of slept and then they'd build a house there because they'd avoid geopathic stress. So there's all different ways of doing that. And I think also going way back, we were probably sensitive to these things anyway. I mean, we've lost so much of that sensitivity.
Yeah, it's almost our intuition. Is not so
because anyone can dowse. I mean, it's not a magic thing. Anyone can dowse. I've been on courses and everyone's learned it. Yeah. So, and I think in the past we would have known intuitively. Oh, we won't build the house there. We'll build it here.
Amazing. Have we covered most of geopathic stress?
Yes,
there?
I think we've
covered it all.
I think we've done pretty well there.
Okay, cool. So that leads me on to I just want to summarise.
Okay.
Now and summarise and we'll just go through the main things that we've talked about just to reaffirm to ourselves. So 5G is extremely harmful to the human race, but we are empowered. Extremely harmful
to all life.
To all life. To all life. But we do have the power within to stop that. We can make choices by not buying a 5G contract.
I think that's right. Yes, we don't feel disempowered.
Yes.
We're far more powerful than we believe.
No, I love that. Mobile phones, as you've explained, use them a lot less. You recommend buying the Memom strip if you can. Loudspeaker, but use them a lot less. Is that, and we've got Wi-Fi. A quick fix for the Wi-Fi is to use a timer, so it switches off at night, because obviously at night is where we repair. But even if you can go one better, hardwire your house. And then I just wanted to go over baby Wi-Fi monitors again, because I remember you saying something really powerful that a lot of mothers will be almost lost if you said, baby Wi-Fi, I need to care for my child. I need to know when it's waking up and that. But I remember you saying, which was really powerful for me, that you didn't need that. The mother is... Do you know what? A lot of females, because they've got to go through the premenstrual cycle, are so... have got a great body consciousness. They're really in tune with their bodies, slightly more than men because of this cycle. And you've said, haven't you?
I think that it's just you feel it. You'd feel it. Now, an example that I had was when I was looking after my granddaughter, who was at the time, I think about 6 months or something, and her parents had gone out. And then she started crying, and I picked her up, and I couldn't do anything with her. She had sort of colic, and I was just couldn't do anything with her. And then about 2 minutes later, the mum came back, and she said, "Oh, I had a feeling that something was wrong," and she came, and that was fine. So it's that intuition. So it's like, mother-daughter or baby bond is so strong that when we had children, you just leave doors open or something. We didn't
Yes.
but you'd also know if something's wrong. You'd feel it.
Yes. Yes.
So that's my view anyway.
Yeah. Tune into the
Yeah,
intuition.
yeah.
Don't let the technology
that's right.
kind of
Yes,
take over.
Exactly. Yes.
that.
Yes. You don't need it. You do not need it. We brought up 3 children without any of this stuff. You don't.
Yes.
Don't need it.
Yes.
Although you're told otherwise.
Yeah. Also, ditch the microwave
Yeah.
straight away, and
The DeX phone.
the DeX phone, the cordless phone, and then there are so many solutions, which I'll put your website on the description as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And also we've got other videos on the Truth Train YouTube channel, so check that out. And also I've got videos on there when we did the tests. We did with your tools.
Yeah. Brilliant.
We did a mobile phone
Yes,
test, which was
yes.
amazing. I put it on airplane mode, and then it restarted to reconnect to the 3G, and it was 4G, and it just went mental.
Yeah.
Even to hear that screech,
Yes.
because we can't see it. We can't see the radiation. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
We just can't see it. It's just
No.
like, oh, yeah, it's fine, but it's actually doing so much damage. So there's a video on there. Check that out. And also there's a video about the Wi-Fi when we turn the Wi-Fi on.
Same thing.
That was extremely damaging. And then just even when we bought the tools outside, because I live about 100 meters away from a mast, just that constant radiation bombarding. But again, there are solutions, which is your website. Will you just, I'm going to put it on the description, but will you just let us know what your website is called?
So it's www.youremfguide.com. So that's all one word.
And you are available for EMF surveys.
That's true, yes.
So
That's what I do.
You can even book Leonard yourself, and you can come down and future-proof your house.
Absolutely recommend. I mean, I'm not really trying to sell myself, but I do recommend having a survey, because then you can look at what you've got to do. And if you're going to shield your room, it's not easy to do, and you really want help through that.
On one thing that the last thing I kind of just want to talk about it. Do you think this will affect house prices in the future? Because so there's the more that we learn about radiation, there's people that live next to pylons, there's people that live right next to phone masts. Now, knowing what I know now, I mean, I don't want to stay in the house that I'm in anyway, because I just want to leave. But that is knowing that is not good. And when I come to buy a house, I don't want to live near a pylon, and I don't want to live near a phone mast. So, do you think there's some sort of?
I think they probably have been affected. Yeah, and I think it's tragic that people are put in a situation where they have to buy one because of price. I mean, that's terrible.
Yes.
But yes, I think it probably will affect them. But what I'm hoping will happen is that this technology can be changed to be safe. That's the point.
Yes.
If that was the aim, we could do it. I don't doubt that. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure. We don't need these damaging things. The 2.4 gigahertz that we use for Wi-Fi, that's one of the most damaging for humans. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
So there are things that could be done, and I'm optimistic.
So, and let's end on a positive note and an empowering note. As you said before, the Essential Path, which has inspired you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through this,
yes.
By Neil Donald Walsh. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you talk about how we're all one. We're all in this together.
That's right. Absolutely.
And we have the power to make a change.
Wonderful. That's summed up absolutely wonderfully. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Brilliant. Okay.
And,
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Thanks then.